Hello there and welcome to Tom's Warhammer Minis. Mulgoth the Cleaver has a foul demeanour, a wicked axe and a grotesquely swollen arm capable of snapping a man's spine with a simple wrench. He has served Golgot's Pus for decades. In the game, he is one of 4 of the powerful bosses that are to be encountered and defeated in the quest to save the Jade Abbey. The model's design is chunky and simplistic in the most perfect way. Easily proxied as something to do with Magotkin as one of the characters, such as the Lord of Plagues, or even the Lord of Blight, or even as a Death Guard model itself. Now, I'll cover many things in this quick and easy to paint guide. That should only take really a couple of hours at the most if you've got that time. From the crusted swollen arm to the green armour, which does have its metallic properties restored completely after contrast painting. So grab your paints, grab your brushes, let's get hobbying. And we're starting with Mulgoth the Cleaver. He is a very brute looking character and really simplistic to paint too. I've got an awesome scheme planned in mind for you. It's going to be quick, easy to follow, and it's going to look amazing. So first of all, the model is primed in white scar. We want those bright, vivid finishes. Now, the first part we're going to do is this flesh, and it's not quite normal flesh. I mean, it's Nurgle, so when's it normal? But it's got a kind of crusted skin colour to it, if you can picture that. And there's no simple contrast paint that matches the box art on its own. Essentially, we've got to create a mix here, and I've got a very unique one for you. So, to begin with, in a palette, we need 3 different paints with 3 different ratios. So, we're going to have 4 parts of Darkoath Flesh. When I'm talking about a part, we're talking brush loads. So, take 4 lots of Darkoath Flesh, 2 lots of Skeleton Horde, and 1 lot of Lahmium Medium. Now, Lahmium Medium is going to help us give it a little bit of control, especially on these large areas. We don't want it to have any drying lines. The Darkoath Flesh is your skin tone. Your Skeleton Horde is what's going to tint that skin tone to make this off-looking sort of crusted colour effect. So, simply start up here, work your way around the back, and just simply paint all the way down. Always start from the top to the bottom. Gravity is going to pull the paint down regardless. If you start at the bottom, it means there's a heavy amount of ink down here to begin with, and gravity is going to drain more towards it. So top to bottom, and as a reminder, 4 parts Darkoath, 2 parts Skeleton Horde, 1 part Lahmium Medium. Next up, we're taking Mortarian Grime, the shade paint, and quite simply, you can see I've done it as a base coat here, but I also want to tint this arm more. I want to create that effect I've talked about where it's sort of crusted and it doesn't look right. And this paint adds to that effect that I'm building up. So nice and simply, all over the skin that we've created here, we're shading this over. And then you've got all these bindings up here. Now it is darker on the box art. We'll get to that in the next step. But it's just having this nice sort of base coat of this colour all the way along. If it hits the armour, not the end of the world, because that's going to be painted in metallic details. So take your time, get that done, let it completely dry, we'll move on to the next step. So next up for Mulgoth, we're going to base coat the armour. Now nice and simple, it's going to be Iron Hand Steel, and I am going to tint it towards what we see in the box art. It is going to lose that metallic shine, but we still need this colour as an underlayer for it to all work. Now, I recommend 2 thin coats here just to get a nice solid foundation. We don't want it thick and lumpy everywhere. So take your time. This is all of the armour except the shoulder pad and except this little emblem up here. If you catch painting it, doesn't matter. Same as a chainmail. The only areas we need to avoid is the cloth and the arm and the horns, as well as the wrap here. Nice and simple. Anything that's going to be metallic armour, if you get paint on it, who cares? You're going to paint it in metallic details later on, and it just simply goes straight over. So take your time and get that bit done. Next up, we've got a whole host of different brown colours here. So to begin with, we're going to take Cygor Brown. Now I've painted this over the soil that we see that's part of the sculpted design of his base. Nice and simple. The stone and mud obviously I had already in place. I've done that for every model in Darkwater, as some of you may know. Moving on from that, we are taking Skeleton Horde. Now this is going to be for a whole host of features. We've got the horns up here, which is the wrong colour to begin with. Think of this as an underlayer. So having this in place just means we've got something to work with when we tint it towards the box art colour. Now for the actual colour where it is right is going to be the cloth. So we've got the front, which you can get to the inside from behind. It's a bit hard to see, but you've got the back, which you can get to the inside from this angle. And obviously you've got the back part, which is here. And the way it's sculpted and designed, it is thicker than what it should actually be, and it extends towards the leg plates there. You've also got the skull that's on the base too. Now, moving on from that, while that's drying, we're going to take Wyldwood. And this is for that little spiky branch you can see right between his legs on the sculpted base. And finally, my next colour is Agrax Earthshade, and I've got a whole host of details we're using this on. To begin with, the Sterling Mud, nice and simple. Then, we've got the wrapping that we did here in the Mortarian Grime, and this is why we've done it in that colour. It's got a slightly different consistency in colour now because of that underlayer, which is much more matching the box art. So we've had those two. We're also going to go to the hand. Now the bottom of this giant claw is a lot darker and it's got a browner tint than the rest of the actual arm. So from here, we're going to paint Agrax Earthshade all the way down, both the inside of the palm and the front of the hand here. But what we're going to do is wash our brush once it's applied and feather out the colour this way up. So we've got a little transitioning blend of Agrax Earthshade into the arm. Nice and simple, let that all dry. We're going to start working on our armour next. Next up, we're going to create this dark, grungy green armour that we see on the box art. And I've got a unique take on this, and I'm going to explain, obviously, the ratios, the mixing, but the reasons why I do it. Because every mix I create has a purpose. It's not that you can skip one part, you just won't get the result, and there is methodology behind what I do here. So, colour-wise, we're going to take 4 parts of Militarum Green. And when I'm talking parts, we're not talking brush loads. Imagine a circle. I want you to split that circle into 8 parts. So 4 parts of it are going to be Militarum Green. We're going to take 2 parts of Mantis Warriors Green. And 2 parts of Lahmium Medium. And just mix that together extremely well. Now, the Militarum Green, we want more of this because this is going to create this darkness, this depth, this shadow that you see. But on its own, it's just a bit grungy and just a bit boring, to be honest. And that's why I'm applying 2 parts of Mantis Warriors Green. Essentially, this is a very toxic green. And it's going to mix nicely. It's not going to overpower it, but it's just going to enhance that Militarum Green towards this sort of grungy little slimy shine that we kind of see. Now, the Lahmium Medium is important for multiple reasons. A, it gives us control. It's still going to matte down regardless what happens, so it's going to lose the metallic shine. But what it does in this ratio mix, it's going to twist it more to a kind of a glaze, not a pure glaze, but we've still got a bit of the hint that it was silver underneath. If we just paint it without the Lahmium Medium, essentially it's just going to be a green overall colour. We are going to enhance the metallic properties later on, but for now, this is what we're looking at. So let it dry, and we'll move on to the next step. Next up, I'm taking Garaghak Sewer, and I'm creating a 1-to-1 mix with that and Lahmium Medium. It's going to turn it into a very thin glaze that we absolutely need. So where am I putting this? When we look at the actual armour, there are these little mottled textured areas. So these got these kind of little spotty areas that you see up here, down on this pad, over here. They're not all over, but they're in certain areas. Essentially, we're not going to be doing any feathering, but just painting around that surface area where it's all textured, just to create this dirtier, grungier vibe that we do see on the box art. So nice and simple, paint that on and just let that dry. Before we move on to our next colours, I just want to point out that the horns were also shaded with the Garaghak Sewer, that 1-to-1 mix that we just used. Now moving on, we've got our other metallic details. To begin with, we're taking Screaming Bell, and this is for the sort of round sort of chest pad up here, shoulder pad, back of his axe, and these little fly sigils that you see on the side of his kneecaps. So that's nice and simple. Let those dry. For our remaining metallic details, we're taking Iron Warriors. That's for all the chainmail that we see around the body. And then we've got the blade of the axe, but not the entirety. So you do have this big textured area, as you can see. Essentially, we're avoiding that and just base coating the metallic details around the outside edge. Nice and simple. Let that dry and we'll move on to the next step. Next up, we're going to start with Iyanden Yellow. Now, ignore what the pot says. I've had to swap it in, but it is Iyanden Yellow. And in its purest form, we're just going to use a small airbrush just to fill in that little spiral circle we see here. I don't want it to be Nazdreg Yellow. I want something that's got a slightly more orangey glow with that yellow tint in it. Matching the box art exactly. Now, moving on from that, we're going to take Nazdreg Yellow. I'm going to apply it rather heavily over these sort of markings that we see on the axe. I'm not sure quite what it is. It's a mixture of sort of Nurgle slime and pus and goodness knows what else. But it feels suitable to have it there, and I'm going to tint it down later on. Bit of blood for the blood god, that kind of stuff. Make it look gruesome. Using the Nazdreg Yellow, while we've got it to hand, we're adding just little amounts over all of the pus spots that we see on the exposed arm. Now moving on to the next colour, I've taken Black Templar, and this is just to simply pick out the claws or nails, whatever you want to call them, that are on his hand. And finally, we're taking Agrax Earthshade, and this is going to be over all of our Iron Warriors details and over all of our Screaming Bell details. Now at this stage, our model is battle ready. It looks absolutely grimdark and incredible. We're not going to leave it there though. We're going to take it to the next stage with a few highlights, a few technical paints, just to finish the model off. First up, I'm going to finish off the green armour. It's got a lot of natural highlights in place. That Lahmium Medium within that mix also pulls away the paint. That's what contrast paints do from edges. So there's a more of a natural, brighter, almost silver highlight that's kind of in place in those areas. But we do have a subtle problem. I want it to be metallic. And unfortunately, contrast paints matte everything down. They take away that metallic shine. Now, the obvious answer is to gloss varnish, but that's not really a metallic shine and it becomes too shiny. What I want to do is recreate the metallic flakes, and the easiest way to achieve this is to take Iron Hand Steel. Now, into a palette, we're going to take one brush load of this, and we're talking 10, maybe even a little bit more, brush loads of Lahmium Medium. Essentially, I'm going to split the Iron Hand Steel completely apart, and it separates the silver from the metallic flakes, because you've got silver colour and then you've got the metallic flakes that give it the shine. We want the metallic flakes rather than the silver. So it's going to be very runny. Just simply apply it all over, and the finish is, as you see, it's very subtle, and now light is absolutely hitting it from every angle. And as you can see, it's a base paint, but I haven't relayered anything. I've only given it basically an overall coat of metallic flakes, and it looks really great. I've done the same on the shoulder pad and the little bit here, just to give that a little bit of a shine. I am going to edge highlight those with a little cheeky dry brush, but I just want to show you how you can achieve this. So it's roughly 10 parts, maybe a little bit more of Lahmium Medium until you're happy. If you haven't got enough Lahmium Medium, it's going to be quite strong with the silver, and we really want to split the paint literally apart. It won't, you know, when you put it into the palette, it is going to look still like Iron Hand Steel, because that is the base coat color. Essentially, when you put it onto the brush, the silver is just not there. It's literally a brush load of Lahmium Medium with metallic flakes. So take your time, get that done, and we'll move on to the next step. Next up, we're taking Screaming Skull, and most of this is going to be a dry brush, but we are going to do some classic edge highlighting too. So for our dry brush, we're going to be a bit cheeky, and we're going to do the skin tone, because it's an off colour anyway, and there are a lot of pus spots, lighter areas, darker areas. It just works really nicely. We've got the base to dry brush, we've got obviously the little Wyldwood sort of branch that we've got the skull. I've done a little bit on the Nazdreg Yellow area, but that's rather subtle, and it is going to get covered in blood for the blood god. You've got all the wrapping of the axe blade, and you've got the horns. So that's all dry brushing. Then we're going to switch to classic edge highlighting, and that's going to be for the skeleton horde cloth, We don't want to dry brush that and catch our metallic details, otherwise they will spoil. So do that and we'll move on to our next highlight. We've got 2 more bits of highlighting to do, and it is going to be done via dry brushing, and it's going to be our metallic details. So to begin with, we've got Sycorax Bronze. Nice and simple. This is going to be for our Screaming Bell details. Moving on from that, our silver details are going to be dry brushed in Stormhost Silver, and it's not going to be a big issue if we catch the armour, because where it is those kind of areas where natural light's going to hit the sharpest points. So if you catch it anyway, it's not going to be a big issue. But this is going to be for our chainmail plating as well as the edge of the axe blade. So get that done. The model is now complete, but what we're going to do is add a couple of technical paints, so a bit of verdigris, bit of blood for the blood god, bit of Nurgle's rot. And finally, we're adding our technical details. So to begin with, blood for the blood god, and I've gone quite heavily on the axe blade. He is the cleaver, he is the big bad, or one of them anyway, that we face in Darkwater. It would make sense that he's probably done a lot of damage with that blade, and I really wanted to emphasize that with the blood for the blood god. Moving on from that, we are going to create our verdigris colour, and if you know me, I like to take 3 parts of Briar Queen Chill and mix that with 1 part of Nihilakh Oxide. I'm not going to go into too much technical detail for the whys of this one. There's been many videos where I've explained it. It's all about control. It's all about giving us power and turning this into a contrast paint and just making it apply really neatly on our bronze detailing. Finally, just to finish off the base, we're going to add Nurgle's rot, as much or as little as you want. Now, all we need to do at this stage is paint the rim of the base. I'm going with Abaddon Black, like I've done with all my models, and we can add some tufts just to decorate the base a little bit more, because he is done. And there we have it. Mulgoth the Cleaver is complete. It just really is simplistic in its design, but in the most perfect way possible. There's so much potential. It's just easy, it's quick to paint, and it just looks awesome. It's imposing, and you can absolutely see why you'd want to avoid this in the game, or at least kill it as quickly as possible. Now, if this video has inspired you, then please do give it that important like. And this is not for fame purposes, but do consider sharing it too. So many people are absolutely enjoying Darkwater or want to pick it up, and there's a lot of models that need a lot of guidance. And while there are many tutorials out there, I do like to go in depth and cover many different things, and the style may suit lots and lots of different hobbyists. So by sharing it, it helps them find my channel. They might find other videos and tutorials that I've done, so it's a very important thing. And if you haven't, please do subscribe, because that's also important. Supporting me means I get to continue supporting you, the awesome Warhammer community. So until the next video, do look after yourselves, and happy hobbying.